Attention please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Taking a break from the colder weather up north, some fans filing into Steinbrenner Field on a beautiful Wednesday evening here in Tampa, Florida. New York Yankees baseball is presented by Verizon Fios. And tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Philadelphia Phillies in an exhibition game from George M. Steinbrenner Field here in Tampa, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees are playing the Phillies, and it's an important game because we're going to see a couple of guys we have not seen on the field yet. Now, Derek Jeter's played 2 games as the DH, but tonight he is back at shortstop for the first time since breaking his ankle in the first game of the ALCS last year against the Tigers. Andy Pettit's been pitching simulated games, so he's facing another team for the first time. Big moment for the Yankees.
How great is this? Yes Network down here, we get to watch the Phillies, and here Derek Jeter. Hey, there's no question about it, Michael. The last time he was playing shortstop was in that ALCS game, Game 1, as Michael just said. I think it'll be a situation where you watch slowly, but I'm a believer that Derek Jeter, when he says he's going to be fine and healthy, I think they took him along slowly. Yeah, there'll probably be some hiccups here or there. I think he's going to be ready for opening day. I believe in Derek Jeter. Andy Pettit, how about this? You got a guy that had simulated games repeatedly over a period of time. Larry Rothschild said he loves where he is, and I love the fact that Andy knows his body. He talks about that. People are worried about that age thing that creeps up. I get it. But he's pitching more. I like the idea that they slowly got him into a regular game. He's probably going to be around 50, 60 pitches. Not really sure whether that's 4 or 5 innings. I'm just going to say it's about 4 innings.
For you, it would have been 3, right? Let's take a look at tonight's Verizon Fios pitching matchup. Hey, it's a good one. If this was the regular season, you'd be paying money to see this. Cliff Lee is going to go for the Phillies. Last year, 6-9, 3.16. Andy Pettit for the Yankees, 5-4 with a 2.87. So we know that 2 of the core 4 actually going to be in this game. And Jorge Posadas here as a coach. You've got Jeter, you've got Pettit, and you'll also see Mariano Rivera. Lineups, first pitch baseball coming up next right here on Yes.
Hi, welcome to Toyota.
Here in Tampa, Florida, a little slight breeze to cool things off in the evening, and the Yankees have taken the field. And here's the Phillies starting lineup presented by Hyundai. Ben Revere in center field will lead off. Kevin Franson, the DH, will bat second. Batting third, playing second base, Chase Utley. John Mayberry Jr., the first baseman, cleans up. Batting fifth, playing right field, Dominic Brown. Darren Ruff is in left field. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing third base, Josh Fields. Freddie Galvis, the shortstop, will bat eighth. And Humberto Quintero will catch, and he will bat ninth. And Derek Jeter will play shortstop. He has been in 2 games as a DH as he comes back from that broken ankle. And Andy Pettitte will take the mound for the first time against another team. And you see his numbers right there. Last year, 12 starts, 5-4, 2.85. Let's do it here in Tampa. And the first pitch is a strike, and we're underway.
Well, let's do it, Michael. You know, looking at those numbers from Andy, 40 years young. Let's take a look at the scouting report. No more simulated game. This is good for Andy to get out in the big league stadium here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Think about Andy's outing. 50 or 60 pitches. Not sure whether that's 4 innings. Probably 4. And majors most. How about this? Active. We know how great Andy Pettitte is. All the Yankee fans out there. For active pitchers in baseball, he's number 1 in wins, 245. Starts, 491. Has strikeouts and innings. This guy's been around a long time, and he's a winner.
And he's the oldest active starter in the big leagues this year. And the Yankees' third pitcher, or second pitcher in their staff, would be Hiroki Kuroda, and he's the 3rd oldest starter in baseball. Swing and a miss. Moving down and away from Ben Revere. So a good start there for Pettitte. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense behind their veteran left-hander. In the outfield, you've got Ichiro Suzuki in left tonight. Melky Mesa in center. And Ben Francisco, will get a look at him over at right. In the infield, it's Youkilis, Jeter, Velasquez, and Rivera. Juan Rivera at first. That's third to first. Chris Stewart behind the plate. And Andrew Eugene Pettitte on the mound. And Derek Sanderson Jeter, 38 years old, gets his first try in the field. Pitch to Franson is a strike.
What's your middle name?
Neil.
Neil. Yeah. Michael Neil K.
And yours is Terry, right?
Yeah. Alois Terry.
The 0-1. Ground ball to second. Velasquez gobbles it up. 2 outs. Let's look at the game time weather conditions, and they are brought to you by our very good friends at Toyota. It's a beautiful night, but let's get the specifics. It's 63 degrees here in Tampa, and in the Bronx it's not that bad. 46 degrees, partly cloudy, as the Bronx is getting ready for opening day on April 1st. The Yankees against the Red Sox at the stadium. Here's Chase Utley. And there's a strike. Pettitte working quickly and throwing strikes.
Boy, did they ever need Chase Utley to get healthy and have the year that he's been a bona fide all-star MVP type player. They were riddled with injuries last year. And if they're going to do anything, Michael, Utley and Ryan Howard have to be in the middle of it. They actually had a strong finish that really made it interesting at the end.
And the 0-2. That strong finish might have saved Charlie Manuel's job. There was some rumblings that he could be let go. He's had a great run here with the Phillies. Won a World Series. Lost that one to the Yankees in 2009. But they struggled last year with injuries. But they did finish strong, and he is back. 2-2.
There's Charlie. What a nice man. Baseball man. You talk about old school. But you're right. You know, that finish, and then also how this all plays out early on. Carlos Ruiz, probably their best hitter last year, 25-game suspension out of the chute.
Check swing. They check with the third base umpire. Manny Gonzalez says no, he did not go.
Assortment of pitches already, Andy. Changing speeds. He'll be in the upper 80 velocity range with his fastball. And I think just watching Andy the last couple of years, and when you get older, there's no question about it. As a pitcher, you realize your velocity is not the same. You have to pitch more, changing speeds. But I thought, Michael, that backdoor curveball, that big slow curveball, Andy always was fastball slider, really just opened up the plate. And he's admitted, he said, you know, it's fun. I know I don't throw in the low to mid 90s anymore, but I just think about every pitch.
He said the way he pitches now, even with the lesser stuff, if he wants to, he can pitch a long time. As long as he stays healthy.
Right.
Even with the diminished velocity, he can pitch. 3-2. Just missed. Utley works a 2-out walk.
Colin Klein behind the dish. I'm thinking strike here, Michael, but I beg. I was an ex-pitcher. You know what? That was off the plate. Watch Chris Stewart pull it. See that little end there where he pulls it back? He's telling me that ball was off the plate. Good call.
Larry Rothschild wants that call for his pitchers. There's John Mayberry Jr. Hot shot in the hole and a base hit to left field. Utley advances to second.
Well, this is the guy here, the Phillies, Dominic Brown. Let's take a look at this last pitch. John Mayberry Jr. jumping on a first pitch heater. That ball cut middle of the plate. You see where Chris Stewart was setting up, and that ball just rode over the middle of the plate up in the zone. Dominic Brown, young phenom for the Philadelphia Phillies, is having a heck of a spring so far. And you think about this young man, I mean, just an athletic outfielder. He's got to prove it during the year. Been up and down the last couple of years.
They lost, a guy who was one of the heartbeats of their lineup, and that's Shane Victorino, who signed as a free agent with the Red Sox. He obviously was traded toward the end of the year, but that was a guy that was part of their championship team. The 0-1.
Well, it also tells you, internally, every organization, they know their talent, they know their players in and out. They don't sign Victorino back, and then they trade for Ben Revere, who really is an exciting player. Doesn't have the same pop. He's going to really patrol a great center field. A local guy, right? Zephyr Hill's around here in Tampa.
First and second, 2 outs. The 0-2. That one gets away from Stewart. The runners stay put. We're just underway here at Steinbrenner Field. Beautiful night for baseball. Yankees and the Phillies. Thanks for settling in with us. Good to see they let Al out of his house this winter to do a game.
When I see the weather, and I watch all the games when I'm up in New Jersey, and it's always like an in-your-face temperature. Today really didn't have a whole lot of disparity there.
No.
High 40s, low 50s to the 60s down here.
The 1-2. High fly ball. Right center. On the run is Mesa. And then he puts it away for the final out of the first. No runs are hit. And 2 men left. Phillies nothing. And the New York Yankees coming back. Derek Jeter will lead off. Scoreless top of the first inning. Now Cliff Lee will take a turn against the Yankees. And the Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. Leading off, the captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter. Batting second, playing left field, Ichiro Suzuki. Kevin Youkilis at third base will bat third. The cleanup batter, first baseman Juan Rivera. Ben Francisco trying to make the team. He'll be in right field. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing the DH position, Matt Diaz. Chris Stewart will catch. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing center field is Melky Mesa. Gil Velasquez is the second baseman. He will bat ninth. So there is Derek Jeter. He has been the DH in 2 games. They took their time with him, and they are going to take their time. And Cliff Lee will face him to start the bottom of the first. See what Lee's done this spring. 8 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts.
Let's take a look at that scouting report, Michael. Elite pitcher, you bet. This guy was a Cy Young Award winner, 3-time All-Star. Tough luck last year. His ERA ended up being low. He did not get his first win till July 4th against the Mets. And a strike thrower. This guy pounds the zone and gets ahead nearly every batter.
Jeter jumps on the first pitch and grounds it to Galvis. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Why don't we check out the entire defensive schematic for the Phillies? In the outfield, you've got Darren Ruff at left, Ben Revere in center, and Dominic Brown over in right. Infield, Josh Fields at third, Freddie Galvis, you just saw at the shortstop, Chase Utley at second, and John Mayberry at first. Humberto Quintero behind the plate, and Cliff Lee is on the mound. And there's a strike to Ichiro Suzuki. Popped up, third base side, diving try by Fields. He can't make the play.
Good effort. Josh Fields, a guy's been around a while, was with the Chicago White Sox. Just out the outstretched reach glove. Trying to make a ball club here as one of the infield utility players.
Chop to second base. Utley get a nice hop. And Ichiro's gunned down for the second out.
When you got a pitcher like Cliff Lee, you know, I know it's spring training and the guys are going to, you know, the everyday major leaguer's going to get a couple of bats, but you get to take advantage of everyone knowing you throw strikes. Derek Jeter swung at a first pitch, it was high. Looked like that Ichiro ball was a little off the plate.
There's a strike to Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis off slow in the spring, not alarmed, just taking his time getting the swing together. Now when he crushes to left field, and it is off the wall, a laser off the wall, just missed being a home run, as Youkilis will pick up a double. Wow. Didn't have much lift to it at all, and somehow it stayed in the park.
These Yankee fans giving the you. Let's see this pitch right here. Is it inside? Little cutter. Got his hands in. It's got that unusual swing, although his hands are down now. Wait a minute. He used to have the little playing the flute right on the top of the wall. He missed it by that much.
Well, he worked with Kevin Long once the Yankees signed him, and they did change and bring his hands down a little bit because the hands being up, he was a little late to the ball. Here's Juan Rivera. He is battling for that first base spot that's vacated for the first month and a half because of the injury to Mark Teixeira. And he's had a good spring so far.
Well, with Granderson down and Gardner being the one that could play center field, I think that the dynamics of how the outfield plays out will be interesting because of Juan Rivera having to have more coverage in left field. He'd probably play right. Joe Girardi would figure that 4th, 5th outfield scenario. But you're right, Michael. If you can get an outfielder Rivera or Diaz to play first as well, this adds versatility to your utility players.
Talk to Joe Girardi a little bit later on. See Lee Mazzilli and Mike Harkey there. And the newest Yankee, Ben Francisco, is on deck. Bottom of the first inning. Phillies did not score in the top. Chopped to third off the glove of Josh Fields. So in that case, Josh does not field, and he gets charged with an E5 as the inning stays alive.
Well, let's take a look here. This is a ball that should be made by a major league third baseman. I know he's going back, looked like the palm of his glove. Once it popped out, forget about it. You going on the pitch, 2 outs. It's a play should have been made.
So here is Ben Francisco. Ben was released by the Indians, and the Yankees snapped him up with Curtis Granderson being out the first month and a half, and he is actually having a good spring training for the Indians. But when he signed with them, that was before they had signed Michael Bourne. He thought he had a chance to get some serious playing time, and knew that he wouldn't, so the Indians let him go, and he signs with the Yankees as a non-roster invitee trying to make the team. Those are some of the lines on his resume. Deep drive, right center, going back. Revere, still back. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Ugalis scores. Rivera scores. And welcome to the Yankees, Ben Francisco. He gets a 2-run double right out of the box.
Well, Ben Francisco did not wait. He gets his fastball inside. You talk about saying hello to a coaching staff, new organization. Almost went right center off the old Hooters sign there. Ben Revere making a good play at it. That's a good impression, that first one.
Matt Diaz foul tips the ball. 0-1.
I mean, this is what's fun and also a little stressful for guys like Matt Diaz and Francisco Rivera. You know, all of these guys are competing for that spot, whether it's the 4th or 5th outfielder, that last spot or two on the roster. And it does. It comes down when it is a situation with a ball club that is genuinely not sure. Your performance in spring training makes the difference as to whether you go north or not.
Chop back to Cliff Lee. Flips to first, and that'll do it. But the Yankees, helped out by an error by Fields. Ben Francisco gets a 2-run double. He's got a lot to smile about. His first impression, you can only make the first time. Tonight's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 CRV by IMG Academy Youth Sports Camps and Private School. Become more at IMG Academy. And by Kia. Visit Kia.com to learn why Kia is one of the fastest growing car brands in America. Andy Pettit has a 2-0 lead, and he deals a strike to Darren Ruff. Yankees helped out by the error by the third baseman Josh Fields, and then Ben Francisco cashes in with the 2-run double. Count 0-2. There's a spot open for a guy like Ben Francisco. He's battling guys like Juan Rivera. He's battling Matt Diaz. And right-handed bat has some speed, something that Joe Girardi likes. And they're going to have to run a lot more than they have in the past, Al, because the home runs are not going to be as prevalent as they were before.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too, Michael, you throw in Melky Mesa. I know there's a mix of, really 5 or 6 guys legitimately to look for those last two spots. You see Rivera at first base. He's been, in his career an outfielder. I think it's really going to play out. And I agree with you. I think the element of this offense is really going to rely on versatility and also speed. I mean, they're not going to hit as many home runs. And to have that versatility to be able to score in different ways is very important for this club.
Ground ball to first. Rivera with the stab as they retire Josh Fields. 2 away.
Nice play, Juan Rivera. Stabbing after a little liner to his left. An original Yankee farmhand coming up when he was a young kid.
Nerve-wracking out to try to make the team in spring training?
Truthfully, the only time I remember, Michael, was when I was a young kid with the Yankees.
Right.
And
the other times you had it made. You had a spot.
Yeah. Although my last year here in 06, when I came, worked out, and then we went out to the WBC, came back, I kind of knew I was retiring, but that was a spring that had I played it out, it would have been trying to earn a spot on the team. And it doesn't matter where you are and what kind of career you had and what's in your bank account. There is still that nervous energy that comes with it, and you have to perform. You know what's in front of you.
There's a strike to Galvis. He doesn't have to worry about making the team. He just has to get ready for April 1st. Ground ball, base hit. Second single for the Phillies against Pettit, both in the same spot. And when Andy's pitching, the left side of the infield is going to get a lot more.
Yes, you said it. That ball inside. Now Andy's a little bit different, as he's gotten older, because he does throw outside more. He flips a backdoor curveball, but still, his MO is that pitch right there, cutting inside. The range and the 5.5 hole, as Tony Gwynn used to call it, is going to get worn out a lot in his starts.
Here's Quintero. Ground ball to second. Velasquez will get the force at second, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. 2 in the books for Andy Pettit. Chris Stewart will lead off in the bottom of the second. Individual game tickets for the 2013 season are now on sale at Yankees.com and through Ticketmaster. Get your tickets today. See the Yankees take on the American League as well as some great intra-league matchups, including the Dodgers and the Giants. Don't miss the 67th annual Old Timers Day on Sunday, June 23rd. To purchase tickets, visit Yankees.com or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Chris Stewart takes a strike from Cliff Lee. Yankees lead 2-0.
First year of having interleague game every day. With Houston going to the American League, 15 and 15 in each respective league. Should be interesting to watch.
See what Stewart's done so far in spring training. He's battling for the catching position. And it's still a little too early to tell, but Francisco Cervelli has really impressed them with his defense, blocking balls in the dirt that throws to second base. And they know what Chris Stewart can do. He had a nice year backing up Russell Martin last year, but starting is a completely different thing as he looks at a called third strike. I asked Joe Girardi about the catching situation. He said, I'm fine with it. He said, in fact, I feel good about it. He said, because those two guys are going to save us a lot of runs behind the plate.
So the battle is for starting, the starting catcher, right? And Cervelli looks like, you know what, I talked to Joe as well, and you know, it's interesting. Cervelli spent the season in the minors last year, but impressed with how he's changed his quickness, his transfer, and his throwing down to second base. Cervelli's really worked on it, and that's kind of given him another viewpoint.
The 0-1 to Mesa. And if that's not a lesson for young players throughout baseball, I don't know what is. You get sent down, buried in the minors last year.
Yeah.
Right before you're leaving to go north with the team, they make the trade for Chris Stewart. You're called in and you say you're sent down. This is after you've been in the big leagues 3 years. And even he admit he had his dauber down there. His parents had to go and, you know, wake him up. And now here he is, 1 year later, with a chance to be the Yankees starting catcher. And you got to be really careful all the time about burning bridges, saying the wrong thing, quitting. You never know who's going to be watching. And here he is.
I went over to the minor league camp over here on Dale Mabry, where the minor leaguers are, and they do a great job, great facility, all the kids working. But the doors going in and out, don't assume anything on every door.
Melky Mesa down looking.
To your point, you know, I mean, here Cervelli, he was the backup catcher to Russell Martin, 271 in 2010 with 266 at bats. Here's a big old curveball. Melky Mesa, good fastball hitter, looked like a little outside, went around the backside. This is we're not going to be able to see a corner. Definitely had the right height. So Cervelli going down. You're right. The first month was awful. You just feel, what am I doing? How did this happen? You got to pick it up. You got to find reasons to say, okay, I'll prove to them that I belong in the big leagues. And there's a lot of stories like that over the history of baseball, where you know, guys a couple years, he's a serviceable guy, and then back to the minors and you never see him again.
Because sometimes they quit on themselves and they don't play hard and they don't improve on the things that could get them back. And there was a lot of doubt about whether we'd ever see Cervelli again. For him to be sent down to the minors and kept there. But here he is. And he has to feel pretty good about things. 3-0. And Velasquez with a 4-pitch walk against Cliff Lee, who usually has unerring control.
Well, it said his strike. How about last year, Cliff Lee? Talking about that, that's amazing. Not only was it a walk, 4-pitch walk, 211 innings last year, 28 walks. Here's Derek. He swung at a ball first pitch. Let's see if he takes a pitch here. I doubt it if it's a strike.
Nice stab there by Mayberry. Count 1-0. Jeter had a really good year last year. And then after the Yankees beat the Orioles in the ALDS, he ends up getting hurt against the Tigers. Runner goes, throw to second, not in time. Throw gets past Utley, and Velasquez will move to third.
Well, I don't know if Humberto Quintero was surprised there. He's off of his knees. There's some guys that have tremendous arm strength. Cliff Lee threw over a couple times. He got a run and lead. He had something. That's a great jump by Velasquez. Bad throw. Now watch here. He goes to his knees. Now that's just the way he throws it. Cliff Lee get out of the way. A little short hop to Utley. Good aggressive baseball.
Count 1-2 to Jeter. Yankees up 2-0. We're in the bottom of the second. Lee deals. The last time we saw Derek Jeter in the field, game 1. Ranges up the middle. And the left ankle just gave out.
Gosh, didn't look like much when it happened, right? I mean, you know, it wasn't even rolling. He had that bone bruise that was bothering him that he didn't really fess up to admit to.
Talked to a lot of Yankee people, and they said when they saw him stay down, they knew it was trouble. Because sometimes he could get hurt. He'll pop up right away just so no one sees that he's hurt. But the fact that it was difficult for him to get up, they knew it was serious, and that was the end of his season and essentially end of the Yankee season. Count 3-2 now.
Well, he'll never admit to it. Any kind of nagging injury, and does not say what's wrong. And he's a believer of if you're on the field, there's nothing wrong with you.
And Jeter works a walk. So a strange situation as Lee walks 2.
That was a really good at bat, Michael. He saw one pitch his first at bat, took a few close pitches. That 2-2 curveball to get to 3-2. That was just a nice at bat. In spring training, little things that you look for. Guys being able to get a good visual from a guy like Cliff Lee.
First and third. And here's Ichiro. And a strike. He's had a good spring so far. Scoop the other way, and out of play.
Just a great pure hitter. Love the way he goes after it. I don't see much of a decline in the sense of him being able to make good solid contact, put the ball in play. It'll be interesting what Joe Girardi does lineup wise early in the season with the guys down as to whether he bats third.
That one is laced into right center field. It is a base hit. Velasquez scores. Jeter will go to third, and Ichiro picks up an RBI single. Yankees up 3-0.
I mean, this is not by accident, folks. This guy has been a great hitter since the years in Japan. This is an 0-2 pitch curveball, lefty on lefty from one of the more elite pitchers in the game. Down in the zone, he's out in front, but because he keeps his hands back, he's able to get good wood on it. The ball just dying there in center field. Revere makes a good effort. That's just good hitting. Not trying to do too much. Staying on the baseball. Put the ball in play, get single out of it, RBI.
Here's Youkilis inside. Youkilis last time up lined a double right down the line in left field off the top of the wall. Missed a home run by a couple of inches. Count 2-0.
How about this stance? Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned. I knew he was bringing his hand down, working with Kevin Long. This is not the old Red Sox Youkilis. Now, see, he starts there, but his hand pulls down a little sooner, and he's conventional, like you'd see of any hitter. See the angle of the barrel, the knob of the bat facing toward the catcher. And that used to be a lot higher than a boat.
Lee's kind of lost his strike zone in this inning. Walked 2 batters now. Was 3-0 on Youkilis and gets a call strike there.
Zach Minor warming up.
High fly ball. Left field. Coming over is the center fielder Rivera, and he puts it away for the final out of the second. Yankees get a run on 1 hit, 2 walks, 2 left. We'll go to the third. It's 3-0 Yanks. We go to the top of the third, and right there on her perch is our very own Meredith Maragovitz. That's her spot out there in right field. Right, Meredith?
I've claimed it. No one else can stand here.
You always look like a little trophy out there, standing on a little podium. It's really endearing, quite.
It's interesting, right?
Yes,
it's interesting
it is.
what I decided to do out here.
Andy Pettit starts off the top of the third, and the pitch is low. Let's talk about Jeter, who we just saw in the bottom of the second inning. He's had 2 at-bats. He's in the field for the third inning now. What do we hear about him?
Well, Michael, you've covered him for a long time. He's not a guy that likes to be out of the lineup. Tough for him coming back from that ankle surgery due to the fact that he hasn't been able to get in a game in the field until this evening. And I had the opportunity to catch up with him prior to the game, and I asked him, are you at all concerned there's going to be any hesitation with coming back from that ankle surgery? And he said, when coming back from an injury, there's always a little bit of hesitation. It takes a little bit of time till you get some reps under your belt. You know that ankle is going to be there and work properly. So it takes some time to get some comfort in knowing that you're going to be able to perform okay. Joe Girardi was asked whether or not there are any restrictions for Derek Jeter this evening, and he said, well, he can't do what Ozzie Smith does. No cartwheels, no backflips, nothing like that. Aside from that, he can do anything he wants out there. So the big test really will be tomorrow to see if he feels any pain in that ankle the day after. But Derek told me that he hasn't felt anything in that ankle in a long time, so they're expecting this to be the next step in the rehab process.
And it's funny, Meredith, because I spoke to him in January, and at that time he said, I'm definitely going to be ready for April 1st. So there's nothing that's happened that would lead him to think any differently.
No, not at all, and that's the main goal. It's not about when he gets in a game here. He wants to be ready come opening day, and you look at everything the Yankees have done. They're bringing him along slow. They don't want to push him too far. They want to make sure that he is 100%. And even when you get to the season, you're not going to see him at shortstop every day, although he'll be there the majority of the time. Joe Girardi has already said they're going to DH him some days, just give him a little bit of a rest to make sure they have him for the entire season. He's a guy, not only do they need his bat in the lineup, they need him out there from a leadership perspective.
Let's talk about some of the pitching situation that the Yankees are dealing with. Boone Logan has been bothered by an arm issue, and Phil Hughes with the bulging disc in his back. So what's the deal with those two?
Michael, the good news is both of those guys are on the mend. Logan threw a side session, a bullpen session yesterday. He'll throw another one tomorrow. He told me if that goes well and he doesn't feel anything in his elbow, he's expecting that he'll throw a simulated game come Saturday. As far as Phil Hughes is concerned, he's still on track. He's going to throw a live bullpen session, batting practice session, I should say, tomorrow. So those two guys continue to progress.
Well, hello, Meredith. How's CC Sabathia? What's his time frame to get in the big league game?
Well, it's funny you should ask, Al. He's actually going to pitch in his first game of the spring season on Friday, so fans will get their first look at CC Sabathia. And all his simulated games and side sessions have gone well. He doesn't feel anything in that elbow. He believes that he's 100%. So it'll be interesting to see him out there on the mound for the first time come Friday.
All right, got a runner at first base, 1 out. Chase Utley at the plate, and he takes strike count 1 and 2. There were some transactions before the game today, right, Meredith?
A couple transactions, especially this time of the year. They start moving guys back to AAA. So Adam Warren, Corbin Joseph, and Zoilo Almonte all optioned to AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. We saw them in some games yesterday and throughout the course of this spring, but they will start their season with AAA.
And there was some thought that Zoilo Almonte might have had a shot to be one of the outfielders, so they send him down and get more work in the minor league system.
And a guy that they believe can benefit from playing every day in that minor league system. And you also have to consider the fact that Ben Francisco is now here in another option as an outfielder, so you have to think maybe that played into it a little bit as well.
1-2 count. Pettit sets. Now, I want you to turn around for a second, Meredith. Look at the guy behind you. You think is it that cold out there? He looks like Bazooka Joe.
It's freezing out there. You two are up there in your warm booth. You know, people are bringing you drinks and people are bringing you food. We have to rough it out here. This is where the real people are, Michael.
Well, the guy looks like he's watching the Iditarod. I mean, come on.
I have a scarf and a coat on. Leave the man alone. He's freezing. He's a true Yankees fan. He's out here right now.
Well, all right, Meredith.
Like you and your warm confines up there. I see how you two do it.
Why don't you come back up to the warm confines, okay?
That's nice.
And bring that gentleman along with you, all right?
I will, for sure.
All right, take it easy.
Talk to you guys later.
You know, I'm hearing her as she says that. There's people up in New York watching this go, wait a minute. It's like 65 degrees. It can't be that cold. Let's see, what is it here right now?
I think it was 62 when we opened the game.
It's got a 57.
Pitch outside to Mayberry. No, I wasn't the only one who noticed that guy all bundled up, right?
No. You know what? I tapped you. I said, look at the guy. So, right. He was cold. You know what? I bet he lives down here. He's a Yankee fan. Oh, look at that.
She's warming up people. They feel a warmth now. They interacted with Meredith Morakovitz. There's a strike. Count 1-1.
It's where Andy gets to pitch. What I was talking about, using all that last pitch, he threw a fastball. Then he's got a 1-0 count. He's got a fastball count. He throws a little changeup, puts him back into a pitcher's count. Using all of the pitches here, busts him in. 89 miles an hour fastball, more than respectable. So if he can maintain that, and they could get 27 or so starts out of Andy, and his understanding of how to read hitters and bats and understand lineups and how to pitch around guys, I think Andy's going to have a fun year.
Two-1. Popped up shallow right, and that's going to dunk in for a base hit. So Mayberry picks up his second hit as Franson moves to third.
Well, Mayberry broke his bat. It looked like a little changeup down and away. This is a good location. Let's see if this ball has a little speed off. It does. See the down and away movement? He pulls off of it. Was able to get enough of the barrel on it to get past there to elude Velasquez.
Here's Dominic Brown. And a strike. You know, the old saying is youth is wasted on the young, and you wonder. You don't have to wonder because you went through it. Imagine when you threw 97 if you knew how to pitch the way you did when you were older and didn't throw that hard. Same thing with Andy.
It is so true, Michael, that there are moments in a baseball player's life where you're just not seeing it. You just don't get it. You have coaches telling you, and you're scared, you're nervous, you're not sure who to listen to. You want to listen, but you don't want to listen. And yeah, you hope you're lucky enough to be able to play long enough and establish a career where you can then take the blinders off. You know, slow the game down. All those cliches.
Ground ball up the middle. It's a base hit for Dominic Brown. Franson scores. Mayberry stops at second, so an RBI single for Brown. And the Phillies are on the board. It's 3-1 Yanks.
Well, Dominic Brown's having a good spring. This is a fastball that Andy tried to throw inside. Pulls his hands in, is able to make a good swing on it. That's a good piece of hitting right there. Right up the box. That's one of those moments as a pitcher you realize, okay, I got 2 outs, first and third. I have a chance to stop this inning. Good hitting by Dominic Brown.
Here's Darren Ruff. And a strike.
Darren Ruff, farmhand for the Phillies. He had an amazing August last year, Michael. 20 home runs in minor leagues and AA for the month of August.
Nice play there by Youkilis. And he gets Ruff on a nice scoop by Rivera for the final out of the third. That left side is so important with Pettit on the mound, and Youkilis with a big smile as he turns this hot shot into the third out of the inning. The Phillies get a run. They strand 2. We are going to the bottom of the third. Friday afternoon, the Yankees continue their tune-up for opening day when they host the Marlins here in Tampa. Complete coverage on Yes starts at 1 when Paul O'Neill joins me in the booth. Only on Yes. You did it, Al. You beat O'Neill to the booth. He's the last guy to do a game in spring training.
Not surprised.
Line drive, base hit for Juan Rivera. Hey, Philadelphia knows the key to its success has to be its pitching. And there was a little bit of a warning flare sent up yesterday. Roy Halladay pitched and really did not look good at all. And I had read some accounts where scouts said there's a concern. He wasn't finishing his pitches. There's no life on his pitches at all. If you don't get typical seasons out of Halladay and Lee, and when you see what the Nationals have built and the Braves, it's going to be very tough for the Phillies. This is what happened to Halladay yesterday. 6 hits, 7 runs in 2 2/3 and 4 walks.
Yeah, the 4 walks. The 4 walks concerns me more than anything else. Honestly, spring training, a guy like Roy Halladay, Cy Young Award winner, no hitter, great career. But this is where I think you have to believe the player and what comes out of their mouth, especially a guy who's been around a long time. Talk to Rich Doobie, the pitching coach. I said, you know, what are the concerns? Of course, he's not going to share everything with me. I get it. He was my old pitching coach with the Marlins. He said, that Halladay feels fine. Now, granted, the scouts could say all they want. There's no finish. He's only throwing 87, 88. But you base it on the success of this guy and what he's done. And you look at his baseball card. You know it. Now, if he comes in and you find out that he said he feels fine, but then he's in the training room and you get the trainer coming back and saying, hey, I'm treating his elbow, I'm treating his shoulder, something wrong with his back. Now I have a concern. I believe in guys to say when they're fine, that when the bell rings, they'll be there.
Fly ball center field. And Francisco, after the 2-run double, flies out to Revere.
Well, let's take a look at the Honda Dealers Phillies scout report. Top 3 starters you just mentioned. If this club does anything in the NL East, they have to have their big guys. The Hamels. We got Cliff Lee tonight, and you talked about Halladay. Age and injury. There are some guys. There's been some injuries last year. Utley's been a situation the last few years. Ryan Howard with his Achilles. There's a problem there, and the possibility. This is a team that can compete right to the very end, but if everything has to play out together. And chasing the Nats. The entire division isn't very strong with the Marlins and the Mets, but when you look at the Braves and the Nationals and the Phillies, that's a tough road to hoe. I think the Nationals are the most complete team in baseball. If you look at their roster, maybe there's an issue if you really want to pick left-handed relief. Sean Burnett, I think, is going to be felt with the Nationals loss there, but I think Charlie Manuel's got a tough road here. But you're right, Michael. If they don't get the premier pitching from their top 3, could be a long summer.
You said something about Halladay, which is intriguing to me. As long as he feels good. Well, sometimes if you get older, you can feel good, and the ball's not coming out of your hand the same way either.
Yeah, but here's a guy he's learned. He knows how to pitch. I mean, when was the last time that Roy Halladay has relied on 93 or better?
But his stuff was pretty decent.
No, he's got late movement. He
Right.
knows how to pitch and change speeds.
And when scouts say that the ball's not moving, that's got to be a little bit of a concern.
What's today?
13th of March.
Okay. And when's opening day?
The 1st.
I'm going to believe a guy like that.
Didn't have a great year last year.
Right. There was concern with his shoulder.
Right.
There was some injury. There was some, shut him down kind of stuff. Didn't have surgery. No, I'm with you. Look, this is a team that needs Roy Halladay to be close to what he was.
Did Doobie like you when he was your pitching coach? Because maybe he's just misleading you.
He was actually, I think he was in the minor leagues. He came up at the end of the year. Larry Rothschild was a pitching coach. No, he's a good guy. He's a good pitching coach. See, why do you go there?
Just wondered. It's also a little sad that the 2 teams that are expected to finish at the bottom of the National League East, you played for both of them. They haven't been the same since you left.
Real sad. You're upset by that, huh? The Marlins, I'll tell you, that is sad. Brand new stadium, go out, make the effort, and then 1 year just blow it up. Not even a year.
Diaz loops one over the head of Mayberry and into right field for a base hit. Juan Rivera will stop at second. A seeing eye single there from Matt Diaz, and it's 1st and 2nd with 1 out.
Well, let's see if the Yankees can do what the Phillies did in the last inning when John Mayberry broke his bat to keep a rally alive. Just a little jam shot. Mayberry tall too. Mayberry can't catch it. Nobody can. Covering Rivera, that's the difference right there. He's playing back, or even with the bag, he may have had that ball.
So here's Chris Stewart. Runners on 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Yankees lead 3-1.
6'6". I had to pull the media guy. John Mayberry Jr. His father, John Mayberry from the Kansas City Royals.
And from what I remember, his dad had a completely different body type. John Mayberry Jr. is kind of lean.
Oh, yeah.
Long and lean. And John Mayberry was a big man.
Very big.
Part of the great rivalry between the Yankees and the Royals in the late 70s. Great playoff series. Rocketed foul. You know who's going to join us in the 4th inning?
Yeah, I think I do.
Curtis Granderson.
The Grande Man.
Now that's John stuff. Don't steal John Sterling stuff.
Oh, my
okay?
God. I just like that song, Sammy Davis.
count 3-1.
I'm looking forward to it.
Popped up. Mayberry makes the play for the second out.
Well, you heard Chris Stewart. I mean, that's a 3-1, 86-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle. And there's no disrespect there. I know some pitchers get offended with that, where guys just can't help it. They just click it, just missed it, popped it up. Chris Stewart yelled out here. That ball's middle center cut. Just pulled off just a little. Maybe we could ask Curtis Granderson about that. About, he missed a ball in frustration, and you might yell out something that there's no disrespect in meaning.
Not Curtis.
No, Curtis wouldn't.
No.
No, but I'm saying just generally. There's guys that, just missed it. Some guys, the pitchers don't like that.
Base hit. Past the lunging Galvis. That will score Rivera. Diaz moves to third, and Melky Mesa with an RBI single. Yankees lead 4-1.
Well, because Curtis Granderson going down, this is a good opportunity for Melky Mesa. Nice short stroke here. He's got a little bit of an open stance, put it down. That ball's out over the plate. 1-0 fastball. Nice middle of the field approach. Good swing. Up the middle, RBI. Yankees have put some good at-bats together against Cliff Lee tonight.
Here's Velasquez. Do you think that a good spring for a pitcher leads to a good start of the season, or is it just completely different once the bell rings?
But my concern always was the last three starts, but really it's the two starts before the last start. What the heck am I saying?
The two starts.
In other words, the last start is kind of just you're getting tuned up for your either opening day or whatever the start is. So the last two before that.
Okay.
So the last three.
Right.
Those to me were concerned. I want it to feel right. And it's hard here. The veteran guys, spring training, been in big moments. Some of these guys have been in World Series, the biggest moments that this game has to offer. So, to keep that flame of like, okay, I know that it's not just about pitch counts. I got to make pitches. I got to have that same intensity and energy. It's a little harder for the older guys for it to not just be ho hum. Let me get my work in. Ho hum. Let me just get 3 at bats. That's the mental toughness. That's the fight. I would think right now it's a little early, but there's something where if you know that something's not right, a game like this, Cliff Lee's got to identify.
Melky Mesa checks off. The ball not handled there by Galvis, and that allows Diaz to score.
I think that was a Chase Utley.
Was that Utley?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll see on the replay. That ball, let's see what happened here. Quintero, he comes up shooting. I don't know whether he got blacked out by the umpire, but it looked like it hit him directly on the wrist. Utley here. That ball kicks away. Quintero gets it. This ball thrown down beats him.
Oh, he was looking to tag before he made the catch.
Yeah.
So now it's 5-1 Yankees. And a 1-2 count on Velasquez.
Well, now you have an inning like this, and you have home plate umpire Colin Klein. That looked like a good pitch. He called it earlier on Derek Jeter.
Goes off speed. Velasquez way out in front. Derek Jeter on deck. Velasquez playing second because Robinson Cano is with the Dominican Republic team in the WBC and having a great.
Did I read he was like 12 for 18 or something crazy? He's got like 9 home runs already, doesn't he, in that tournament?
9, really?
No, I'm kidding.
He did have a big home run in one of the games. That one is tapped back to Lee. High throw, and it pulls Mayberry off the bag.
Well, that's very uncharacter-like of a guy like Cliff Lee or any major league pitcher. You got to get your feet set. This is a little easy comebacker. He's probably done that at least 150 times this spring. Pulling John Mayberry Jr. off the bag.
Well, after 71 pitches, that'll be it for Cliff Lee. They don't want to push him that much more, so they'll go to the bullpen. First and third, 2 outs. Yankees up 5-1 here in the third. Yankees lead the Phillies 5-1. They have runners on first and third, 2 outs, bottom of the third inning. They knock Cliff Lee out of the game, and Zach Miner comes on to face Derek Jeter. So Mesa is at third. Velasquez is at first. Pitch outside.
Zach Miner spent a few years with the Detroit Tigers. You see his spring training numbers. He's a minor league free agent coming to camp for the Phillies, so those numbers aren't going to impress the brass of the Phillies.
Count 1-1. Jeter so far tonight grounded to short and then walked, and has played an uneventful couple of innings in the field. His first time in the field this spring. He's had 2 previous starts as a DH. Count 2-1. Joe Girardi and former Yankee manager Stump Merrill, a fixture here in spring training. 2-2.
Just beat him just a little. That's it. Derek Jeter, right center swing. Fastball up in the zone, 2-1. How often have we seen this? Pulls his hands in. This is all about the right center approach. But that had a little extra giddy up from Zach Miner. 94 miles an hour. Difference between a line drive to right field somewhere or a foul ball.
Batting coach Kevin Long. The 2-2. Strike 3. Clips the outside corner as Jeter is down looking. Yankees get 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. Joining us in the 4th inning, Yankees center fielder Curtis Granderson. Second game of the spring, our first broadcast of the year. First inning, Jay Happ hits Curtis Granderson.
I'd be out there playing right now.
How tough was it to get out of the way? Could you not see the pitch?
Thing is, the problem is I saw it good. I saw it straight, and I go, okay, that's the one I might be able to get after. And as I started to swing, which is one of the things Kevin Long talks about with me and Cano, we always do that. But it puts us exposed to pitches like that, and sure enough.
Was it a little two-seam running in? Was it straight?
Can't really tell because the catcher set up down and away. But then the pitch ran up and in. And so I don't know if he ended up missing just location, maybe a miscommunication in the pitch or something like that. But ended up getting away from him, caught me on the wrist instead of the bat.
How ticked off are you the first at bat of spring training?
Frustrated at the moment when it happened. I knew I was going to come out of the game. I knew they weren't going to keep me in there. But I thought it was just going to be a bruise. I thought I'd be back in it. But sure enough, the x-ray came back negative, and then all of a sudden I'm out of the game. And now the mindset, okay, now what do we need to do? I've never been injured this early. I've never been injured without playing. When I come back, I got to play. But spring training will be over. So where am I going to play? And all that stuff kind of ran into the head. The main thing was focus on what I can focus on. Be positive. Now I'm starting to work my lower body out. The bone is going to heal naturally on its own. It's going to take its time. That's all I can control.
And you don't worry about things you can't control, right?
That's it. You know, there's no point to think about that other stuff, you know. Right now I'd love to be out there, but I'm loving watching my guys out there play. I get a chance to see them in the locker room and go about their do their business. I keep joking around with all of them, asking how they're hitting and when they're going to get more and more hits.
Now let me explain what he's doing, Curtis, okay? Because this is a pet peeve of mine when people go, I don't worry about things I can't control. I only worry about things I can't control. I don't worry about anything I can control.
You know, it's a good way to look at it because you know you can control the stuff that you can.
Right.
But the things that you can't control, you got to look out for them a little bit. But if it's going to rain, it's going to rain. I can't control it.
I don't buy it. I don't get it.
I guarantee you go through that Yankee clubhouse. I bet everybody thinks.
You know why? Because they've been brainwashed to say that. It's a nuclear loose thing. I don't worry about things I can't control.
Why worry about it? You can't control it.
That's why I worry about it. I don't worry about things I can control.
The game already has enough stress, Don't add any more to it. If it was any other sport, we might be able to do it. But this game is already hard enough.
Now, there was one tiny little positive out of you getting hurt. They stopped the left field experiment.
You know what? That was crazy going on out there. I got 3 innings. I'm not sure if they were able to make an evaluation out of there. But I was out there once before. A lot of people forgot. I think my first year when I came over here, spring training here with the Yankees, I was out there because I remember the fans in left field singing happy birthday to me. Oh. So my birthday's coming up this Saturday, so it must have been in the middle of the spring when that ended up happening. I don't remember what I did out there. But, I had no problem going out there. We talked to Joe about it. We talked to Gardy out there, and it was a matter of what's going to be better for us. Me in left, me in center, him in left, him in center. Any one of the other outfielders that we have out there, let's just put the best product out there and go out there and win.
You mentioned about how hard it is, and this game is hard. I mean, farther away you get away from it, it's easy to talk like, we're all whizzes at this. But, we've said a lot about your relationship with Kevin Long and you changing your swing. What was noticeable and dramatic, I think, a couple years ago, resulted in better power. You staying on the ball, both hands. Explain how, major leaguers such as yourself, there's always just some tinkering and adjustments and something. We started with the Euclid right now.
Oh, man. This game is one that'll make you go crazy. No matter what you're doing, no matter how good you have been, you can always be better.
So that's going to do it for Andy. We're going to stay right here because we have a special guest in Curtis Granderson. Andy has a good first outing against a team that doesn't wear pinstripes, so they'll go to the bullpen. And the Yankees need something special out of Andy Pettitte this year. They need all their starters to do well, especially with you guys hurt for the first month or so.
Everybody's looking forward to him. Everyone loves Andy, the whole city of New York, the state, all the Yankee fans. And we in that clubhouse, we're happy to have him back out there. We know what he can do for us. We know what he means for us. And sure enough, he went out there and pitched great for us in his first time out.
I remember something Don Mattingly once told me, Curtis. He said that when his back started to hurt and he was on the DL, he said, the fact that you're not playing, that's terrible. He goes, but you are not a member of the team unless you could play. He said there's such a disconnect, and it's not as if the guys don't care, but they want to win, and you're not going to help them win that day. Do you feel that at all, or is spring training lessen the blow a bit?
Spring training definitely lessens the blow. Over the course of the game, if today was a game I wasn't going to play, it's kind of harder to keep up with what's going on. You got a lot going on. Spring training is also vacation. Mom and dad are down. Friends are down. It's your last little bit also before you're preparing for the season and getting things going. Now, if this was a season game, that's where it's like, okay, when am I approved to go out there? I know I can't hit, but maybe I can go run. Maybe I can go out there and do something to help the team. And that's when you start getting that itch. But right now, I know there's nothing I can do because it is spring training.
Have you been in this cast the whole time?
I got in this after the second day. This is a little custom brace that they put on there for me. I got a couple of Velcro straps. It is waterproof, so you guys want to take me to the beach? I can go out there and do that. It's actually pretty comfortable. I can take it on and off, which is good. We got a bone stimulator, which looks like more contraption than anything. Kind of vibrates the bone in there. Jeter actually used it on his ankle as he was coming back. I used it in years past when I had a broken finger on the top hand. Very similar. Pitch in spring training. Lefty ran it up and in. Supposedly help about a week of the healing time, so hopefully it gets me back 1 week, a couple weeks a little bit earlier.
All right, let's put you to work here. You saw Andy Pettitte. What did you think? How did he pitch today?
Big thing, confidence. You know, he was ready to be out there, and he was ready to go out there and deliver. He'd been joking around over the past couple weeks. You know, I'm ready to get out there. Hopefully I can make it to my 60 pitch count. I think he was at
59, I think.
Oh,
58.
You know,
58.
Yeah. You talk about being accurate. That's what you need. He threw strikes. He got himself out of jams. I know Jeter was talking before the game. He was worried playing today because he knew Andy was going to get a lot of ground balls.
Yep.
And he wasn't sure how much action he was going to get over at short since it was his first game out there. But, you know, only one run on the board. We got a little trouble right now. But Andy did great, and I'm sure he's going to be excited. But Andy's a very tough critic on himself, so I'm sure he's in there looking at some film already as we speak right now.
All right, so Derek didn't get any ground balls at all. Youkilis was trying out a bit. Cody Epley comes on, and he faces Quintero and throws a pitch outside. Now, before this inning ends, and there's still nobody out, but you never know with double plays, tell me about the Grandkids Foundation.
The Grandkids Foundation was the foundation I established in 2007. We're focused on the educational initiatives and reviving baseball and softball in the inner cities. We actually did something here a couple weeks ago here in Tampa with Academy Prep, which is a middle school. They have a base in Ybor City and in St. Petersburg, so all the fans and Tampa people that know about that. And we kicked off this physical fitness activity there, part of the Let's Move campaign with Michelle Obama, fighting childhood anti-obesity. But we have an event coming up here Friday at the patio. We're going to have some teammates come out. All the fans that are in town come out. It's on McDill, just south of Kennedy. You can get tickets at patiotampa.com. All the proceeds go towards the Grandkids Foundation, again, helping with education and also baseball and softball in the inner cities.
Curtis, you're one of many, but you do above and beyond, I think, the philanthropic, off-the-field stuff. Is that based on your upbringing, your parents? You know, what makes you feel compelled to give back as much as you do?
I think it's a mix. One, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the people that have touched me. Obviously, my mom and dad are very crucial to getting me where I am today. And like I said, they're here right now. I just picked them up at the airport a few hours ago. So they're at home enjoying the game. And then just teachers and neighborhood friends, family members, all those different people that were positive role models to get me to where I am right now, sitting here talking with you guys. And now I'm in a position where I can go ahead and help out those, whether it be a conversation, whether it be a book, whether it be a baseball, a bat. All those different things can hopefully help somebody better their life and be able to, when they get older, do the same thing for somebody else.
Ma and Pa Granderson are very cool.
Yeah.
And they are big-time viewers of Yes as Quintero goes down on strikes.
They ended up adding it on their package at home. They had to make sure they got that cable package so they didn't miss the games. And they love traveling to New York, but they can't get there all the time.
From
so they're in Chicago.
Where are they? Oh,
they're in Chicago,
yeah.
yeah. So they're in Chicago, and they catch us as often as Yes will throw you on the network.
Here's Ben Revere against Cody Epley. So Quintero goes down on strikes. Now, I know it's too early, and you're still young, and you have a lot of years ahead of you. But I see you sitting here, and I hear you. Is this what you want to do one day?
I enjoy doing it. You know, I've never done this side of it, you know, the actual analyzing of the game. We were actually talking a little bit ago about international travel. I think that was the first time I did it was in, where was I? New Zealand. They had a World Baseball Classic qualifier, and I was out there talking a little bit over the game. That was the first time I had to go pitch by pitch, inning by inning to see how it is.
So you did a game. You were colored.
I did about an inning or so. So great deal of respect for you guys and what you guys do. You know how Yankee games are, 3, 4, maybe 5-hour games.
9 innings.
and you guys have a bunch to talk about. Very informative. The fans are always talking about you guys. So you guys do a great job.
Now, do you think you have play-by-play in your soul? Because if you do, I'll let you do the Revere at bat right now.
Oh, man, I don't know. You know, that'll be a tough one. We'll see if we can do it.
All right, so he's one-on-one. I'm going to give it to first and second, 1 out, 1-1 count on Revere.
All right, we got a 1-1 count here. Nice night out. It's still chilly here in Tampa for spring for some reason, but it's supposed to warm up here this weekend. Epley gets ready to deliver the pitch. Foul ball to right side. 1-2. Let's see if he can get a ground ball here and hopefully get the double play and get themselves out of it. How's that?
I like it.
Keep going. I got to keep going. Oh, we don't stop there.
That's the problem.
It's not a commercial yet. He gets a new ball. He's digging in. He's ready to dig in. We got Stu still catching. Stewart still
yes,
back?
Yes, he is.
All right, let's see what Stewart calls here. Hopefully something to get a little ground ball. And sure enough, there it is. Jeter to the double play. Oh, what was that?
You can't root. That's
You got to get me a neutral game.
Here's the replay. Al, why don't you do your job?
All right, well, let's take a look. Derek Jeter getting a nice little hop here. Here's a quick transfer to Velasquez. Let's see how the transfer is. Firm throw. He beats it out.
He is definitely beating it. And that is Ben Revere.
Yes.
Very fast outfielder. Used to be with the Twins, and sure enough, it's going to help out the Phillies this upcoming season.
You like Ben Revere?
I did. I liked him a lot. We got a chance to talk a little bit last year when we went over to Minnesota and played, and he did some great things out there. I was actually surprised that they moved him like they did, but it's a great opportunity for them. They're obviously going to use him whenever in any situation they can over in the National League with the Phillies.
Yeah.
Here's Kevin Franson, and there's a strike. Count 0-1. When do you think you'll be back? Everybody keeps saying middle of May. Do you think it might be sooner? You think it could be later?
I'm very optimistic. I'm hoping it's going to be sooner. The tough thing, though, is I need to play. And the big question that got asked to me, which I was stumped on, was how many at-bats am I going to need? And I honestly don't know. Normally, you get to spring training in, you've got at least 50 to 100 at-bats. You get banged up, you just know you got to get healed up. In a couple games, you're good to go. But if I come back and only play 3 to 5 games, I'm looking at maybe 15 at-bats total. I don't know if that puts me ready to jump up to Yankee Stadium and face the Rays or face Boston or face Baltimore or face Toronto. So that's going to be the tough thing for me to figure out.
Stolen base there by Revere. A good pick by Velasquez, keeping it out of the outfield. So second and third, 2 outs. Yankees lead 5-1. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Talking with Curtis Granderson.
Have you been watching the WBC?
I have.
The last one.
We were actually watching a little bit of it last night. That was the U.S. and who played last
Puerto
night?
Rico.
In Puerto Rico, yeah. You know, mixing up all the different countries. It's great. I got a chance to play in 2009. Definitely enjoyed it. It was a great experience. That was the first time I played with Jeter. So I got a chance to see him and also Euclid. So we were all out there enjoying the World Baseball Classic. And to all the guys that are playing, it's a great opportunity to represent your country and the rest of the world.
Striking out is Grant Franson, and Curtis does a lot of things, okay? He plays center field, he announces, and yeah, he drinks snake blood. What was up with that?
This is the first time I've seen it. It was great.
Oh.
Look at the face. Look at the face. Round up.
Yeah, it was great.
The Nets are back in action when they welcome Josh Smith and the Hawks to Barclays Center. Coverage on Yes starts at 7:30 with the Verizon Fios pregame. Then, Fordham alum Ryan Rucco and Jim Spernarkle have all the action from Brooklyn, only on Yes.
Fordham.
Mariano Rivera is getting ready. So we will see him in the 5th.
A little different, right? Everybody said, wait a minute, Mariano Rivera, 5th inning. Yes, that's when most of the major leaguers will be out there. Plus, you give a guy like Mo a chance to ice and shower up before the 9th inning.
I think there's a method to using him in the 5th. And I'm going to tell you what it is. But first, a 1-0 to Ichiro. That's the inning that Joe Girardi comes on with us. And he knows that Mo's going to have a 5-6 pitch inning. He doesn't have to be on the air that long. Boom. Goes back to managing.
Really? Joe would do that?
Very shrewd, man. Went to Northwestern. Now, we talked before with Meredith about Phil Hughes. And still hasn't seen game action. It's March 13th. Opening day is the 1st. Now, he's not going to be the opening day starter. They can push him to the 5th starter out of the season. Do you think he can make that first go around? Is there enough time for Phil Hughes to get ready?
All right, so you're going to give him 3 or 4 starts? Because he can get pushed back. Is that a 4-start window? I know I'm putting you in a spot here, but where we are mid-March, he probably could get 3 for sure, and maybe if they push him back, he can get a simulated game of some sort. Yes, I spoke with Larry Rothschild about it. I said, is there a concern of him, if he can get on this schedule, would he be available opening day? And I think as a result of the off days, and maybe skip him, he could be ready at that first go-around. They won't need a 5th starter.
For a while.
Right.
Ichiro grounds it up the middle. Utley is there, off balance low, but Ichiro picks up his 2nd hit. Another factor that you have to think about as well is that the Yankees open up at home in New York on April 1st. Could be cold. Then you have Detroit, you have Cleveland. Cold weather cities. Do you want to risk Phil Hughes at that point when he's not totally loose and ready?
Great point. And I would say no. You'd want to make sure that he's capable of getting to that 100-pitch count. And guess what? You got David Phelps, who's pitched very well, and Ivan Nova. Good, not great. So you have formidable 4-5 to get you into the start of the season. It's a good problem, because when Hughes comes back, now there's the issue of who is that long man? Do you send Phelps to the pen, which he's done? I don't see Nova doing it. I really don't.
Nova actually, he doesn't want to hear it. Nova does have
an
option to go down.
See, these are all good problems. It adds depth to obviously their rotation, and it's good to have 6 guys in 5 spots.
And Nova's pitched better than you give him credit for. I think that Phelps has a 0.6 ERA. Nova has a 1 ERA. He's done very well.
Yeah, I don't mean that it's been a bad spring, but just looking at when you talk about his stuff and command and where he is in the zone, etc., it's good, and he's got plus stuff. He can dominate.
Yougelis skies it the other way, foul.
No, I don't. This is not going to be a scare pitching wise. I don't believe it. This is all about the offense and when they get Granderson back, when Teixeira comes back, how they can hold that. Basically the middle lineup. You just add the length of when Robbie will be back after the WBC, and knowing how that all fits right now. Right now, Yougelis is your 4-hitter.
The 1-2 inside. I spoke to Girardi about this morning, Al, and it's another baseball bromide, so to speak, where they go, well, you can't use that as an excuse. Well, the Yankees, for the first month and a half, 2 months of the season, are not going to have Curtis Granderson, Mark Teixeira, and Alex Rodriguez. I think that's a pretty darn good excuse. Now, you can't like give up. Girardi said, well, you can't run up the white flag and nobody's feeling sorry for you. But that's losing a lot of offense that you would plan to have when you were putting this team together. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Throw. Not in time. So Yougelis down on strike. Stolen base for Ichiro.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Michael. And when the winter played out the way it did, and the loss of the home runs that were the exodus of that, yes, it absolutely makes it even that much more important for these guys to have been healthy.
And it puts really puts the onus on pitching.
Yep.
You've got to win a lot of games, 4-3, 3-2, because I don't think they're going to have that. Those 9-run games a lot, because you're not going to hit the ball out as much. You're going to really have to work for every single run. You're going to have to manufacture runs.
And defense.
You know, anytime you look at this game here, and I know it's a spring training game, a key error in the first inning cost Cliff Lee and the Phillies 2 runs there from third. I mean, that little minutia and nuance of that, a combination of good pitching, you have to have strong defense. And that's the way it's going to play out, at least until when Teixeira and Granderson get back, because that is serious thump that's missed.
And you cannot dismiss the Yankee staff, their starters, and their bullpen. You'd have to say that's a strength. Now, the big question is that you've got age there, and they've got to stay healthy. But, it's a big but, they stay healthy. That's pretty formidable. That one is a base hit to center field off the bat of Juan Rivera. Ichiro will score. So the infield single, the stolen base, and a bloop single gives the Yankees a 6-1 lead, and that's manufacturing runs right there.
You've got that right, Michael. You got the stolen base. Ichiro's able to do that. I know Gardner will be up there somewhere. And Juan Rivera, nice night, 2 for 3. Doesn't do a whole lot, middle of the field. Zach Miner showing a nice, boring, sinking fastball. Just had enough to get out there to center field. You know what also, Michael, as we talk about this, you mentioned Ichiro, that stolen base key, puts him in scoring position. The early run that they're able to push early on says a lot. When you know that if it's the potential, they're going to have games. There's plenty of games that the Yankees are going to score their big runs. But if you can figure out that manufacturing early on, just throw up a couple picket fences, one in the first, one in the third. You know, that also gives the breathing room for a solid rotation to just know that not every pitch is a loss, potential loss.
Count 1-1. Miner gets the sign. You know what was funny, Al, was Curtis was up here. You know, how long have you been on Yes?
This will be 7 years.
This is 7 years. He actually did more play-by-play than you've ever done. You want to do a couple of minutes of play-by-play?
That's really funny. Sure. 1-2 count, one out here. Ben Francisco, nice little pickup. Ben Francisco by the Yankees. Little minor league contract, opportunity for him to compete for that outfield spot. Looks like a 4th, 5th outfield. Taking that pitch ball. 2-2 count. Veteran guy, Ben Francisco's been around, been multiple teams, is getting his chance here. Like that aspect of having a veteran player that's been around, has have some numbers to support a major league career. I think it gives him a little bit of an advantage. And the versatility aspect. I think Ben Francisco could potentially be a guy that can do a few things that could impress this coaching staff. Little slider outside corner, goes down looking, 2 outs.
I'll be the analyst, so it's a good breaking ball. It just whispers across the outside corner, kind of freezes Francisco.
I don't know, Michael. That looks outside to me.
You really shouldn't give opinions when you're doing play-by-play. I've learned that.
Sorry.
So 2 down, and that'll bring up Diaz.
You're the color guy.
All right, go. I'm
there
sorry.
You go, Matt Diaz. 2 down. You got it, Michael. 1 for 2. Diaz is. This is also big at bat for Matt Diaz, being able to show some things here in the spring training early on. Takes a curveball, ball 1.
You know, one of the strengths of Diaz is that throughout his career, he has been a great hitter against left-handed pitching, and that's a good guy to have on the bench for the Yankees. And you know, before the injuries, they were looking for either Rivera or Diaz. Who's going to be that righty guy? Who's going to be the DH? Who's going to come off the bench?
Curveball up the middle. Nice play. Zach Miner over to first base. There you go. The Yankees are up 6-1, going to the 5th.
And we'll get Mo next. scoreboard as we go to the 5th inning. 6-1 Yankees over the Phillies, and we're joined in the 5th by Joe Girardi. And Joe, I have a theory.
Oh, geez.
All right?
All right.
You could use Mariano whenever you want during spring training.
Yes.
But you know that you were going to do the top of the 5th. You get him in now. 6 pitches, you're off the air. Is there any method to your madness?
No, because if Andy only went 3, he would have went to 4.
Good. Thank you, Joe.
Right. But we didn't want to bring him in the middle of an inning.
Okay, so you do like talking with us.
I love it.
All right, so how has Mo looked so far this year?
He's looked good to me. He's had the one outing. We've seen him throw some simulated games. I've seen him cover the bases. I've seen him run. Fortunately, we haven't seen him shag. That will have to wait. But he's looked good to me.
Does he, all kidding aside, do you want him to avoid shagging? Because
no.
That's how he loves to do.
Only in Kansas City.
Only in Kansas. Okay.
Yeah.
Chase Utley will lead off against Mo. Derek Jeter out of the game. Jose Perilla will come in to play shortstop. And there's a strike. So this is Jeter's first game in the field. What'd you see out there? I don't think he even had an opportunity.
No, he didn't. It's amazing how that happens, isn't it? You know, when you want to see how our guy's doing and they don't get opportunities, and then when you see a guy that's, you know, had a lot of opportunities, they just keep eating the ball to him. Well, that seems pretty similar. 0-2 on a hitter.
Now, is Perella playing second or is he playing shortstop?
Well, he's playing second.
Okay,
All you got to do is look out on the field.
Oh.
No.
Wow.
No, that's Gil Velasquez. I moved from second to short.
Okay.
So, Petey didn't play yesterday. We call him Petey. He didn't play yesterday, so I thought I'd get him in a little bit earlier to get him a couple of bats. Eventually, he's going to third.
Okay.
You are right. And Gil will go back to second, and then we'll do a couple different things tonight.
And you'll pretty much destroy my scorecard.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I'm giving you a heads up.
Here's the 1-2. A little bit low.
And then we have Walter Ibarra. He'll eventually replace Velasquez.
Good stuff. I'm all set with that.
You got all that?
How do you think Pettit looked?
I thought he looked pretty good. You know, I watched an inning on TV. I thought he located the ball. I thought he used his breaking ball. He threw some strikes with his changeup. So I was pleased.
There's a ground ball to third. Youkilis gets Utley. Now, Joe, I'm going to ask you for some inside stuff. When you came out to the mound to get Pettit,
yeah,
and everybody was laughing, and you were laughing. What was that about?
Man, what were we talking about? I don't even know, but I remember we were laughing about something. I'm sure it had to do with Andy.
He doesn't even like to come out of a spring training game.
No,
right?
he doesn't. I mean, but he knew. He was at 60 pitches, 59 pitches, and that was plenty tonight, and we're pleased with that, and we'll progress. He'll start again on Monday in a minor league game because we're off, and he's doing great.
Joe, we were just talking earlier about the what-ifs of Phil Hughes being able to get back on track and having the 4 or 5 rotation guys getting a little bit clouded, I guess, if he is able to be ready for opening day.
You know, it's not a bad thing if it is clouded. I mean, that's a good thing. Ooh, that hurts. That's why I quit catching right there. It's a good thing if we have that problem. Phil is, I think, supposed to throw another batting practice, or he's going to throw a batting practice here pretty soon. But if Nova and Phelps, if we have to decide between the 5th, they're both throwing great, and I'm sure we can find something to do for both of them.
Ground ball to Youkilis. 2-way. Joe, you've got to make a decision at first base. You've got plenty of time to do it, and you've toyed a little bit, I guess, about Youkilis moving over to first. What are the plans on this?
Well, just to kind of play it out, Michael, there is no plan. So you're going to see you play both spots. Kind of what we're doing with Ichiro and Gardy, depending on who that extra outfielder is and where he's more comfortable decides where Ichiro and Gardy. And that's the same thing with you, depending on, you know, the guy that we bring in, if it's a platoon situation, where they're more comfortable, and that's how we'll do it.
Here's Dominic Brown against Mo. And a broken bat.
How'd he look?
Surprise. He looked pretty good. How about, what do you think?
Yeah, a couple bats. He looked pretty good to me.
Those are 8 pitches, Michael.
And you got yourself a short inning, Joe.
Well, maybe I'll come back in the 7th.
All right, take it easy. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, it's Yankees 6 and the Phillies 1. 2013 Yankees season tickets are on sale now. Benefits include savings off the game day ticket price and postseason options. Season ticket plans are available on both a full season and partial season basis with various options to fit what you're looking for. Buy your season tickets today. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com. Little between innings discussion. Al, we joke about it, but Mariano's 43, missed 5 months last year. You see the Audi scoreboard, 6-1 Yankees over the Phils, and he doesn't look any different than before he did when he hurt his knee.
Remarkable. And I got a chance to talk to Mo extensively today, just about obviously this year, and him talking about this will be it for him and a great career. The unique aspect of what he's been able to do with one pitch and his understanding that when his velocity has dropped, he's now a pitcher. I mean, he was telling me today about, now with his side days, he works a little bit more on the two-seamer, opening the plate up. But that is such a unique pitch that it's hard for guys to square up. We just saw it. And it doesn't have to be 93, 94 miles an hour. At 90 miles an hour at late cut, guys can't barrel it up.
See Michael Stutz on for the Phillies. He starts off Chris Stewart with a strike.
And he has done as good as he's been based on the consistency of a delivery that hasn't changed since day one, Michael. You could take a superimposed delivery of Mariano Rivera in 1995 and show what we just saw here. I promise you it's not far off. We could click it frame by frame. Same. That's unbelievable. It really is.
And that's why he stayed healthy, too.
Stayed healthy, and the consistency. To consistently make quality pitches, you have to be in that same position.
1 and 2.
And he's an athlete. Let's face it. This guy, he thought baseball was going to be a hobby for him. He wanted to be a soccer player. That's why he runs around in the outfield like that. This guy really was an athlete. He was a shortstop when he was playing in Panama, then converting to a pitcher.
The 1-2 to Stewart. Swing and a miss, one away. I asked Mo today, spoke to him this afternoon. I said, you pitched this year. You have 60 saves and 61 opportunities. You have an ERA of 1. Now you've said, and you see his resume, it speaks for itself, so I'll let it speak for itself. And you win a World Series. You said that you don't have much left in the tank. Well, obviously you would. Any scenario whatsoever that you would come back next year. Absolutely none, he said.
I'm glad he said that.
He said no matter how many, this is it. This is absolutely
no matter
it. No matter what he said, I could go 65 for 65. Under 1 ERA, he said, I'm not coming back. It's time.
I get it. I get it. Look, with 608 saves, I mean, think of that. That's what, 36 saves a year for the 16, 17 years, whatever he's done. And you look at closers. I mean, you think about the mindset of a guy that's so aggressive and out of control, which he's not. Think of the windows of the longevity of guys that have been great. It hasn't been very long. I mean, we've seen guys that have come and go, that have been dominant and, all-star caliber. 3 or 4 years, boom.
Melky Mason with a 2-0 count against Stutz. That one is driven out to left center field. Revere makes the play for the second out. Mariano had the press conference on Saturday. We carried it here on Yes, and he was asked, what's your dream scenario for your final game? And here's Mo.
The last game, I hope, will be the throwing the last pitch in the World Series. That's how I envision to be my last game or my last pitch on the mound. Winning the World Series. That will be my ambition.
5 World Series rings so far for Mariano Rivera, so he'd like a 6th to end it. And the amazing thing about his stats, you said the 608 saves. These are 2 great stats. He has 42 saves in postseason. He has an under 1 ERA. If he pitched in the postseason and gave up 21 runs without getting it out, his ERA would go to 2. 21 runs without getting it out. And in postseason performance, more men have walked on the moon, 13, than he's given up earned runs, 12 in the postseason. And no one's ever going to do that again, because how many teams are going to be able to be on the run that the Yankees have been on since '95, where they've been in the playoffs every year but one, and to have the longevity and health for him to pitch in the postseason? I think those numbers are pretty safe. Slow ground ball and a base hit for Velasquez. And what makes the numbers in the postseason all the more impressive is that the innings are extremely high leverage, and you're facing the best players in the game in the biggest moments of the game. So his numbers actually get better as the innings leverage go up.
Which just speaks for, you know, his ability to, you know, and I love the way he just really simplifies it. I know it's not that simple, but for that consistent behavior to be repetitive over so many years and not allow moments like World Series to change him in any way, for him to not be able to execute.
Here's Perella batting in Jeter's slot. Jeter was 0 for 2 with a walk and actually did field one ball he started the force out at second that the Yankees couldn't turn 2 on. There's a guy who could perform in the postseason. That one gets past Mayberry, and Velasquez will advance to second. So that'll be an error on Stutz.
Phillies played some sloppy baseball tonight. Some throwaways. We saw Cliff Lee throw away a ball, a comebacker to him. These are unacceptable plays at the major league level. Stutz has got to hit Mayberry in the chest to stop that ball. You advance runners and give up outs.
Now that wasn't in his chest, Al, but that was a catchable ball.
No, it was a catchable ball. But you know what? You're throwing from the pitch mound at first base. Hit him in the chest or close to it. I know it happens, but you know when you see some sloppy play as the Phillies have played tonight, there's your 6th spot.
There's a strike. 2-1. Yankees lead this one 6-1. Yankees have a 6-11 record in the spring, and the Phillies are 7-9. High fly ball, left center. Revere runs it down for the final out of the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. We go to the 6th. 6-1 Yanks. The Yankees have launched Yankees Ticket Exchange, the official resale marketplace of the Yankees and Yankees.com. It's a safe, secure, and convenient way for fans to buy and resell Yankees tickets. For more information, visit Yankees.com/ticket exchange. Nice night here in Tampa as the Yankees lead 6-1. New Yankee pitcher is David Aardsma. And swing and a miss. This spring, just 2 games, 2 innings. Last year coming back from Tommy John surgery. And he used to be a fairly dominant closer. He'd be a nice arm in the bullpen for sure.
Oh boy, Michael, you're fairly dominant. A few years back with Seattle, 2009, 38 saves, ERA 2.5, 73 games for the Mariners. The following year in 2010, 31 saves.
That one is drilled deep to left field. That ball is gone. See ya. A home run for Darren Ruff. And the Yankee lead is now 6-2. So as Ruff heads around the bases, we'll head downstairs a little bit earlier. Meredith Marakovitz caught up with the starting pitcher for tonight's game, Andy Pettit.
Thanks, Mike. Andy, you'd said after a couple of your bullpen sessions that you were really happy with where you're at right now. First time you actually got in a spring game. How'd you feel out there?
I felt good. Everything, my body felt good. Wasn't particularly happy with my command. Just of, my 2-seamer was cutting. My 4-seamer was cutting too much and coming back to the heart of the plate when I was trying to go down and away. But, it's first time out there. Obviously, for me, it was just, especially being a night game, it was just a little strange to get back out there. But it was good. I was able to get 60 pitches in. First 3 innings, I felt really good. Had kind of a long inning there to go back out for the 4th. And we were just trying to get to 60 pitches, and I got there. So I feel good about that.
How much of it is just the fact that it's spring, first time out, and just getting back into the swing and things overall?
I mean, for me, that's all it's about. Is just to get out there to build the pitch count up. Again, like I said, just my stuff was not quite where I wanted it to. It wasn't as sharp as I was in the simulated games, last 2 simulated games. But it gives you something to work on. So looking forward to the next time out and trying to get the ball to go where I want it to, and hopefully have a little bit better command of my stuff.
You had a familiar face behind you at shortstop, Derek Jeter, making his first start of the spring. What was it like to have him back in the lineup and back on the field?
Well, it was good. It was good to see him get back out there. He told me to tell him to hit it, let him hit it somewhere else. I said, well, man, that hole over there between short and third. So I had Uke over there diving around a little bit. He made some good plays. So there's going to be a lot of action over there. So, Jeet's going to take it slow, and he's getting moving and getting to feel better, and just happy to see him out there.
Andy, thanks for the time.
All right, you bet.
Michael, send it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Meredith, and thank you to Andy Pettit. So Andy with his first start against another team. He'd been pitching simulated games. That ball's fouled off by Fields. And let's take a look at what Pettit did tonight.
You know what, just listening to Michael, here's a guy that it's different. He said, here it is, a night game. It's at the spring training park here in Tampa. It's not a backfield somewhere where you're facing your own teammates. And, he felt like he was a little rusty command-wise. And that's where he is. He's understanding of what he's bringing on every night. Know which pitches are working or not. Identify it early.
3-2. Base hit up the middle. So 2 batters Aardsma faces, and both of them hit the ball hard. One over the fence and one up the middle.
Yeah, those are 2 hard hit balls. Let's see Josh Fields here. Middle of the plate. Now that's the thing, Michael, when I said those numbers about David Aardsma a couple years ago, this guy threw upwards of close to 100 miles an hour. Now, it was a disappointing situation. The Yankees signed him, and he had the Tommy John surgery last year, so he rehabbed all last year. And now here just trying to come back. What the upside is, well, we'll find out. I guess you watch him as he gets stronger and stronger. 31 years old. He's certainly plenty young enough. But, the concern is that will he get close to what that velocity was, because he is primarily fastball attack with some nice movement, put away slider. But if that velocity is in that 91, 92 range, it's a lot different for major league hitters. They can barrel that up. That's an average velocity that most major league hitters see every night.
This is what Aardsma's done in his big league career. 7 big league seasons, and that's 6 teams. He was a first-round draft pick in 03. And he missed the 2011 season with Tommy John surgery and missed a lot of last year as well. So it's taken a long time for him to come back. usually Tommy John surgery, and the timetable has been sped up just a bit as they figure out the training methods a bit more clearly, but they say it's about a year, and maybe getting all the way back where you could even be throwing harder, maybe a year and a half, but usually a year you should be back.
You know what? It's interesting you say that, because I think it is that sometimes 18-month window. Nice changeup. 2 good changeups there. That's a nice combination. Look, if he knows that velocity, eventually get back, and as you say, Michael, that that surgery, the Tommy John, replaced the ligament. Some guys it takes a year and a half, and this is a bit of a project to hopefully find a 31-year-old right-hander if he can get close to where he was. Good sequence right there to Freddie Galvis.
Pista Quintero's upstairs.
And Ardsma is in that mix. If you look at the Yankees bullpen, and depending upon what happens with Phil Hughes, will also have some bearing. If there is a guy like maybe David Phelps who doesn't deserve the way he's pitching right now, but how that all plays out in the next couple weeks.
Driven to center field. Melky Mesa makes the play. And now Fields is going to have to hustle back. Can they get 2? No, the ball gets away. They did have 2. If Rivera could have made that catch, but a nice catch by Melky Mesa.
This is a great catch, Michael. Watch where Melky Mesa is, slightly right center. He gets on his horse. A nice leaping catch, and then a good strong throw. Ends up having to be bang bang at first base. You watch here, nice play, gets his feet underneath him, had plenty of time. Had a chance there. Perella just throwing it wide of Juan Rivera.
Here is Ben Revere. Count 1-0. Hey, we have to send out birthday wishes to our associate director, Mike Medvin. It's Mike's birthday today. Happy birthday to Mike. There's a strike. Al, you could pick Mike Medvin out of a lineup, right?
I know Mike. Are you kidding? He does all of the stats and the scout reports.
He has a new job this year.
I know, he's the tape guy.
All right, what are you being snippy for?
Well, then why'd you say pick him out of the lineup? I know where you were going with this.
2-1. Count 3-1. Slap the other way. Ugal is getting a workout today, and that will do it. So Ardsma gives up a run on the home run by Rupp. Gave up 2 hits. 1 man left. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th. It's been all Yankees so far tonight. Tomorrow night, a crucial Champions League battle takes place here on Yes. After losing 3-1 in the first leg of their home and away, Arsenal travels to Bayern Munich with their European title hopes on the line. It all starts tomorrow at 7:30 with Arsenal 360 right here on Yes. 6-2 Yankees lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees have pounded out 9 hits. How about the error total for the Phillies? 5 errors for the Phils. They're waiting for Ichiro to get ready. And there is Suzuki.
Getting 4 at-bats tonight. Good for the hitters to see more than just a couple of bats. You get in that part of spring training.
Grounded to second in the first. RBI single right in the second. Infield single behind second in the fourth. Stole a bag and then scored a run in the 4th inning. He has a very good spring so far. So by his numbers, I believe 467. Yankees signed him to a 2-year deal. And if he has 2 really good years, it's going to have to be really good years, he will get to the 3,000 hit mark as a New York Yankee.
Wow. Wow, would that be something? Let's see, Michael. 2,600. So, right. Yeah, he's a little less than 400 hits away. 2,606 hits. That would be 2 phenomenal years.
Now, the old Ichiro could get 260 hits in a year, but this is the older Ichiro, and I'm not sure he could do that anymore.
His last 200 hit season was 2010 with 214. Look at that, 2004. And how many hits did he have in Japan? He's got well over 3,000, right?
Oh, he's closing in on
4,000.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, yeah.
2-2. Count 3-2. Let's see, in Japan he has 1,278 hits, so he's got 3,884 hits.
And actually, those home runs, if he wanted to hit more home runs, I believe he could. That baseball bat's like a baton for him, hitting the ball wherever it's thrown.
Guys like Ichiro and Wade Boggs put on shows in batting practice hitting home runs. They can hit the ball out, but they think they sacrifice getting base hits if they try and hit the ball out. So Ichiro's night is done. 2 for 3 with a walk. Yankees will send in a pinch runner.
Yeah, it's sacrifice a career 322 batting average. Phenomenal.
Walter Ibarra is going to pinch hit for Kevin Youkilis. Count 0-1. So Zoilo Almonte, who was actually sent down to the minor league camp before the game, is pinch running for Ichiro, so still here. And minor league camp is right across the street. And you can shuttle them back and forth, and they can appear in games. So it's more or less a clerical thing.
Wasn't there a period of time when the big club was still in Fort Lauderdale? Minor league was here, and they had to fly him? Or...
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I know when I was coming up with the Yankees, it was you had the complex down in Hollywood. You know, the separation was, now granted, it was still in South Florida. So the call-ups of guys in minor league camp it seemed less frequent for guys that were already sent out.
Now you make a phone call, somebody walks across the street.
Literally.
The Yankee minor league complex is right next to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium, Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, they have a great setup. They really do.
1-2. Grounded up the middle. There's one. There's two. A 4-6-3 double play off the bat of the pinch hitter Ibarra.
You know, you look at a guy like Walter Ibarra and Zoilo Amante. You mentioned that they got sent down. This is such an impressionable opportunity for the guys that are down for this big league club and everybody watching to see them as potential call-ups.
There's Dan Johnson, who's thinking bigger. He wants to be the guy that replaces Mark Teixeira, but so far in spring training he hasn't done much. Just 1 for 19. That spot is open. You could be the Yankee first baseman for the first month and a half of the season. There have been a lot of reports that the Yankees have inquired about Derek Lee, who did not play last year, coming out of retirement. There have been reports about inquiries into Scott Rowland. Brian Cashman floated a trial balloon through the media to send a Twitter message out to Chipper Jones, who's retired. And media members got to Jones and Jones's agent as well. And then Jones tweeted out, "I'm flattered, but I'm going to remain a bad golfer." That would be a tough one to convince him to do. I mean, a lifelong Brave. Oh, yeah. And many people think that his tank wasn't empty. You know, Mo talked about having a tank that's empty. He just thought it was time to go, but he could still play. He just got hurt a lot.
He got hurt a lot, and that was the issue. You know, for him the last few years. Chipper's a great player, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. But it was hard at times to keep him on the field. He played hard. He played hard. No, he's a Brave. I get that.
Strike three. Dan Johnson now 1 for 20 on the spring. So the Yankees do not score against Stutes, and we go to the 7. 6-2. Yankees over the Phils.
Monday, Brooklyn Nets head coach P.J. Carlesimo sits down with Michael Kay for a new GMC Presents Center Stage. The sideline general discusses his long coaching career from Seton Hall and the Dream Team to his storied years in the NBA. It's a new Center Stage Monday at 10:30 only on Yes.
I think you'll like that one, Al.
I like
PJ's a great guest. He really is.
And he's done a nice
job coaching.
Yeah.
Ford scoreboard 6-2 Yankees over the Phils outside Steinbrenner Field here in Tampa. New pitcher for the Yankees is Jim Miller. This is his 6th game this spring. He's pitched 5 innings, 3 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts. There are a lot of changes for the Yankees. We'll get them to you as soon as we get them. So just play along with us. Here's Kevin Frandsen. Now, there was a move today that was made out. We talk about the first base slot or third base that's open for the first month and a half, and also the outfield spot that's open. And they got Ben Francisco, Juan Rivera, Matt Diaz, people trying Melky Mesa. Line drive, knocked down, and Pirela will throw to first to get him. One away. And I'll tell you who I was thinking about, but first, something more important now. We're going to go down to Meredith Marakovitz, who's with the captain of the Yankees, Derek Jeter. Meredith?
Derek, obviously just a spring training game, but was there an element of excitement for you getting out there for the first time after coming back from ankle surgery?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was nervous. You know, I'm usually nervous going in every spring training the first time you play, but yeah, I haven't played in quite some time, so it felt good to get back on the field.
Didn't get a lot of action at short, but can you take something away from this?
Yeah, I mean, just being involved in game action, you know, seeing different plays, getting signs, giving signs, you know, that's all things that you got to get used to and get reacclimated to. So I'm happy I had a chance to get back out there.
Before the game, Joe Girardi said this is just a step in the rehab process. What else do you have to do? What else do you have to test with that ankle to know that you're back 100%?
Well, you just have to do numerous things. I mean, you have to go out there and play the games, and you can, you know, during batting practice and during our early work, it's all a controlled environment. You get out there and you're just reacting to things. So the more you play, I think the more comfortable you'll get.
Now, it seemed like you and Andy Pettitte were having a little bit of fun out there. He said that you told him to make sure that nobody hits it your way. Is that true?
That's very true. Yes, it's very true. So you got to start off slowly. And I got one today, which is good. Maybe two the next time.
And it seemed like you were talking a little bit with him as well, yelling at him on the field.
Yeah, he's got to get over there and cover first. You know, Andy likes to be a spectator sometimes on the mound. So, no, we just go back and forth at each other. So I'm glad I was out there with him. Any
hesitation right now or any concern that you come back tomorrow and that ankle's a little sore, or are you completely convinced that you're A-okay moving forward?
No, I mean, there's normal soreness from day to day doing things because I'm doing a lot of things for the first time, but I'm not concerned about it.
Derek, thanks for the time.
All right, no problem.
Send it back up to you guys.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you, Meredith, as well. Did you ever have problems covering first?
No, but that's where you know the closeness and friendship of guys that have played with each other for 15-plus years.
Yeah, I mean, you count the minors. They've been together 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
No, that's cute. Covering first? Yeah, sometimes.
Here's Lance Nix. A double over the head of Mostelia. And Nix grounds it to second. Pirela makes the play. And the runner moves to third. Anyway, the name that I was thinking about, a guy who hurt the Yankees when he first came up and was released today, Brennan Bosch of the Tigers. Lefty bat. I think the Yankees would prefer a righty bat, but lefty bat that could take advantage of the Yankee porch and right. And doesn't cost anything. It was just picking him up. I don't know how he's fallen this much, Al, but Brennan Bosch was a really highly thought of player for a while and always seemed to hurt the Yankees. Not knowing anything, I wouldn't be surprised if they take a flyer on him.
Wow. You know, I'm with you. You know, he's one of those guys, when you watched Brendan Bosch over the years, how you saw the potential. He wasn't a big guy, had some pop, but I think Abisail Garcia, that young outfield they have that kind of looks like a clone of Miguel Cabrera, I think that's a push there. Torrey Hunter coming in. I think they like Andy Dirks. You know, yeah, there's the number. They squeeze you out. There's a time in spring training where if you get released and you're under a guaranteed one-year deal, they don't have to pay the whole contract. I think that was part of it too. They save some money.
Be interesting to see who picks him up. Yeah. And again, I'm sure you remember it, Al. You did some of the games. He was somebody the Yankees couldn't handle. He would get big hits all the time, but he's taken a step back. There was one year, I think it was 2009, that he had a great first half, almost made the All-Star team.
Yeah, I remember.
Or 2010, because I think Joe Girardi was the manager of the team, so the Yankees won in 2009. He almost chose Brennan Bosch to be an All-Star that year. So that wasn't too long ago.
You know, you look at a guy like that, Michael, and, you know, you kind of play your way out of it. You know, I don't know what's happened through there. He doesn't get his at-bats, probably upset that he's not getting as much playing time. Then Jim Leyland, the manager, puts him in there for 2 or 3 games against a couple righties and, you know, doesn't get a hit. Then you sit. I mean, you know, that's a whole mental thing. It really is. To be a platoon guy and do it well for a long time, that's awfully difficult.
Jermaine Mitchell walks against Jim Miller.
I mean, that's when I think of guys that I played with that were able to either do the platoon thing or pinch hit. You got to be a special guy. You really do, to be able to not, have any kind of effect of sitting for 2 or 3 days or 4 days or a week and still have that consistent. All right, this is my bat. These might be the only 3 or 4 bats I get in 4 or 5 days.
And think about it. Any person who puts on a big league uniform, they were the best when they grew up. They weren't a pinch hitter. They were a star.
Right.
So there's somewhere along the line you had to change your whole thought process on how to play, because you didn't come up in the little leagues, oh, well, he's a good pinch hitter. You were the star.
No doubt. No doubt.
To be one of the players that puts on a big league uniform, you were great at one point.
Yes. Yes.
Ender Inciarte. Swing and a miss. So first and third with 2 men out. Yankees holding on to a 6-2 lead here in the top of the 7th inning. Runner goes from first. No throw, so a stolen base for Mitchell. One, two. Into the seats and out of the seats. Swing and a miss. Inciarte down on strikes. No runs are hit, no errors, and 2 men left. At the end of 6 1/2, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at Steinbrenner Field. But we will keep it right here as they honor America here at the Yankee spring training site. Yankees will come out of the dugout, and there'll also be a color guard as well. And let's listen to the public address announcer, Paul Oldham.
Men and women of the armed forces that fight around the globe to preserve our freedom. Please direct your attention to the Yankees dugout and welcome from the United States Marines, Major Christopher Horton from Hudson, Florida, who as a Marine helicopter pilot has had numerous deployments to Southwest Asia and the Pacific in support of 3 wars and over 10 humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. We would also like to welcome the members of the United States Army baseball team from the Military Academy at West Point. Let's have a warm round of applause for Major Horton, our brave United States Army Corps of Cadets, and all of the brave men and women all over the world for their sacrifices for our country. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and remove your caps and join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
America's freshest lineup is here. Enter Tri-State
We start at the bottom of the 7th inning, and Ronier Mustelier fouls one off. He's been impressive. They like the way he swings the bat. You see the Ford scoreboard. Yankees lead 6-2. And they've actually had him at third base a couple of times as well. He plays the outfield, can play third, but his best position is hitter. And Mustelier grounds at third. One away. Let's check out the Mazda upcoming schedule. Let's see. Tomorrow they are at Dunedin against Toronto. That's not on yes, but Friday and Saturday are. Friday you'll see CC Sabathia for the first time. 1:05 start against the Marlins. And the Phillies are back in town at 12:05 on Saturday. And you see the week after that. Corbin Joseph skies one deep to center field. 2 away. There's a new pitcher, Justin DeFreitas. And here's Bobby Wilson. Also still battling for a piece of the catching position. And a strike. Count 2-1.
You know, looking at Bobby Wilson, Michael, you know, looks pretty clear as to what the catching situation would be at the start of the year. But a guy like Bobby Wilson is always kind of an under the radar pickup that you'll see. Veteran guy, signed minor league contracts, try to make a team, agrees to go to AAA, and is, you know, the good insurance policy guys. I mean, they're spattered all around spring training right now, where you got guys that have spent 3, 4, 5 years, however many years in the big leagues. You know, for whatever reason, that club lets him go. You mentioned about Brennan Bosch last inning, and that's the part where you have to, you know, take a little gut check, and your pride is hurt a little bit when you realize and you believe that you're a big league player, but yet you're in a situation where you have to go again and prove it. You'll see guys like Bobby Wilson and others that will go down to the respective AAA somewhere and get some at bats and hope that there's another opportunity for you.
Shattered bat and a ground ball to short. And Wilson is down for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We have played 7 full here at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Yankees lead the Phillies 6-2. Tonight's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. Been a good night for the Yankees here at Steinbrenner Field as they lead 6-2. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Jim Miller still in there, and Josh Fields fouls it away.
What's your take on the American League East? I know we talked about a lot of stuff here tonight. Better, more balanced. Does Baltimore still have a little magic in them? Toronto's a better team. Boston's better.
Well, it's interesting. I think that you could make a case, and I don't think I can ever remember the American League or any division like this. You could make a case for each team finishing first or finishing last. You could actually, if you wanted to, okay, tell me the Yankees are going to finish first. Somebody could tell you just how they're going to do it. And say, all right, tell me that the Blue Jays are going to finish last. Somebody could do that. So I think that you can make the case for any of the 5 teams to finish anywhere in the division.
All right, so what you're describing, and I'm in agreement with you, because every team has its story, that this potentially could be a year in which the winning team could be a difference of 3, maybe 4 games to the last place team. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So you got a 91, 92 win.
Unless the team has a lot of injuries and ends up being the doormat, which you can never tell.
All right, but even with that, the competitive balance of an unbalanced schedule to where you play 19, 18 games within division. Red Sox are clearly, I'm definitely thinking they're a better club than that. They have to be.
It's interesting talking to Girardi today. I think this will surprise you.
Toronto's better.
He said that he can make the case. He believes that all 5 teams will win 85 or more games.
I can see that. I mean, you know, it'll be 85, 86, 88, 91. And that's what you're seeing. You know, you mentioned about a few innings ago about Mariano Rivera and the remarkable postseason numbers and a fantastic career. The parity in baseball.
Galvis with a ground ball for the second out.
Of teams just having better depth, and you're seeing it more and more with different franchises getting winning seasons and get moving on. That I think you will see more teams and divisions that are close, 4 or 5 games difference between first and fourth or first and fifth.
And that might end up hurting a team in the American League East where there might not be both wild cards coming out of the East. Because if you look at the teams in the West, all of those teams will have 18 or 19 games against one of the worst teams that's ever been put together in the last couple of decades, the Houston Astros. Yeah. So you might have more win totals in the West, and that could take a wild card away maybe from a better team, quote unquote.
Well, you know what? You're exactly right. If you think about Houston in that Central Division, you know, it helped teams, of course, when you have a team that's not as competitive based on a full 25-man roster of quality major league players.
Count 3-0 to Quintero. Pete Orr's on deck. And there's a strike. And there is a walk to Quintero with 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Conflicted family right there. A couple of Yankee fans sandwiching a Philly fan. Must have been a very difficult 2009 World Series in that house.
I'm just trying to figure where they're from.
Maybe somewhere in the South Jersey area.
Yes.
And Orr pops up, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. They seem to be getting along fine right now, but it's not October. everybody. Brought to you by Delta. Here's how it's broken down so far. The Yankees with 2 in the first, and they scored in the first 4 innings, 6-9-0, beating 2-7 and 5. 5 errors, a sloppy game for the Phils. Andy Pettitte, his first start against another team not in pinstripes. 3 innings, 4 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. I believe he threw 58 pitches. Francisco, a 2-run double for the Yankees, his first Yankee appearance. And Ichiro, another good night, 2 for 3, a ribby, a run scored, a stolen base. And Derek Jeter made his first start at shortstop this spring. He had 1 chance, and he handled it flawlessly. I have a new pitcher for the Phillies. It's Chad Durbin. And he will face Melky Mesa, who has made a really nice play in center field. Swings at the first pitch and hits a sky-high pop-up right side. And it falls untouched.
Unfamiliar foul territory here, but that looked like a play that should have been made, could have been made. Chad Durbin, veteran reliever in the big leagues. You see his spring training numbers. Let's see here. This is second baseman's ball. Cesar Hernandez really has to aggressively go after that. Call off Darren Ruff and make that play.
Only 1 home run in this game by Darren Ruff in the 6th inning. Off of David Ardsma. WBC's getting exciting, and I got to be honest, Al and I spoke last week, and I said I hadn't watched an inning of it, and he sold it to me, and I started watching it. I watched the U.S.-Canada game, and I said, wow, it's really fun. And now you see the passion from the players that are involved, how much it means to them. And somebody asked Robinson Cano, who plays for the Dominican Republic, what would be bigger, winning a World Series or winning the WBC for the Dominican Republic? Now, I think that most people would automatically say, oh, the World Series. And he paused. He said it would really be close. So that's how much this means to these guys.
And do you see them, how they react?
Amazing. I mean, the brawl between Mexico and Canada, that you don't see stuff like that in spring training games. And they're running hard. They're stealing bases. They're sliding hard into second to break up double plays. It's a really good stage for baseball. The only thing, and I spoke to Joe Torre about this today, you've got to get people, you're taking people from spring training, and you've got to guarantee you're going to get them at bats, because this is their spring training. They can't just not play. So he got criticized the other day, fly ball to left field off the bat of Maruzak for the second out, because he didn't play Giancarlo Stanton and played, I believe it was Willie Bloomquist. And he said, I can't take Willie Bloomquist away from his team and never play him. That's not fair to the team. Right. So you're almost serving 2 masters. You got to get people ready for the season, and you're trying to win what has now become a pretty big deal in baseball.
Well, and think about that. In spring training here, I mean, we've seen tonight Major League players on this game that's getting 4 at bats, but there are plenty of spring training games, whether you're in the WBC or down here in Tampa or Arizona or wherever the spring training city, where they're not playing every day. So, for Joe Torre to give Giancarlo Stanton the day off, right? Willie Bloomquist, nice player with Arizona, he's not going to get an at bat. You got to put him in there. And that was the balance. I think Joe did a nice job with not having 2 superstars at every position. If you remember the last WBC, he was flip-flopping Jimmy Rollins and Derek Jeter each game. He was flip-flopping David Wright and Chipper Jones at third base.
Swing and a miss. Perella down on strikes. And that will do it, as the Yankees go down in order against Durbin. 1-2-3. Joe Girardi needs 3 more outs to end this one. The Yankees are up by 4.
The play of the game brought to you by Jeep, and it was in the first inning. Ben Francisco, the new outfielder here in Yankees camp, double straightaway center, scoring 2 runs in the first inning off of Cliff Lee. That right there is the play of the game brought to you by Jeep.
All right, 9th inning for the New York Yankees. Sean Kelly will be pitching. Try to close this out. Yankees and the Phillies play a lot in spring training because they're about 30 minutes away. Phillies train in Clearwater. Yankees here in Tampa. And Kevin Franson fouls it back.
Sean Kelly, nice spring. Look at that. The 0 ERA. Another guy vying for the eyeballs, seeing him as a guy to make this bullpen.
I think this guy could help.
Yep.
I mean, last year he had pretty decent numbers. It's not a bad pickup at all. Good guy in the middle of the bullpen. Franson 0 for 3 tonight, but putting together a good spring so far. Still plenty of time to go. About 18 more days of spring training. Now, we were talking about the WBC, and there's some things that they have to change. I don't think the run differential thing is a good idea, and that's the reason that the fight between Mexico and Canada took place. Canada had a big lead, and one of the batters led off with a bunt. You know, they're trying to add runs on because that could be the difference between advancing or going home.
Or just let your players know that that's part of the
Yeah, that was bad
play.
communication on that. Even the manager of Mexico said that they should know that. And it wasn't rubbing it in.
I think it's got legs, Michael. I do. It's the third one, and I think the more that it's played, I'm sure there'll be some tweaking, but I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Swing and a miss. Franson down on strikes. United States will play tomorrow.
Good slider. Sean Kelly's shown a good slider in this spring. That's late breaking, straight down. Good flat fastball, not plus, but that is a put away slider.
And the game between the U.S. and the Dominican tomorrow, the winner of that game will advance. And if you're a Yankee fan, who happens to be an American, what if it's a pitcher that's not there? There are no Yankee pitchers on the squad, and they're facing Robinson Cano with the game on the line. Who are you rooting for? So WBC makes some strange bedfellows. And Cano's had an unbelievable WBC. There's a ground ball first, and Hernandez is out for the second out.
Well, I think if you're a Yankee fan, Michael, this is what you root for. You root for Robinson Cano to go 4 for 4, 2 RBIs. Heck of a ball game. And the USA wins 5-3.
Okay, but what happens if the bases are loaded and Cano is up? Either he's the GOAT or the hero.
I'm sorry, man. I got the whole USA in front here.
Now, it doesn't mean that there's only American Yankee fans or Dominican Yankee fans.
You're asking me.
Right, you.
Yeah, I'm rooting for USA.
Okay. Here's Lance Nix. And a strike.
No, but all of that's what's fun. Seeing the fanaticism and the support behind the respective teams and the countries. It's wonderful.
And in this round, it's closer to the real game of baseball because the starters could go 80 pitches this round. And then the next round, the championship round, they could go 95. And that's close to a real game.
Right.
Count 1-2. So 2 down here in the 9th inning. Yankees lead this one 6-2. Trying to pick up their 7th spring training victory. Andy Pettit started, then it was Epley, Ardsma, or should I say Andy Pettit started, Epley, Mo Rivera, Ardsma, Jim Miller, and Sean Kelly. Cliff Lee started for the Phillies. Zach Miner, Michael Stutz, Justin DeFrantis, and Chad Durbin. Strike three, and the ball game is over. Lance Nix down looking. A strong ninth inning for Sean Kelly. And the Yankees win this one 6-2. So the Yankees go to 7-11, convenient, and the Phillies drop their 10th game of the spring. We'll come back to wrap things up from Tampa in just a moment.